All right, it looks like most people are trickling in now to the webinar. So thank you all for coming. My name is Victoria, and I am a customer success specialist with PunchPass. And welcome to the first in our PunchPass webinar series. We're going to be talking about basically the concept of this webinar is the welcoming into the new year in 2020 and welcoming a lot of new customers to your business. We really want to focus on how you can make a first-time customer a regular customer. And we're going to talk through just some tips about your business, as well as some ways that PunchPass can help you accomplish this. We work with a lot of businesses around the world who offer a lot of different types of classes. And one of the really big signs of success is when we see regular recurring customers. So when you have a standing reservation for someone who always comes to that class on that specific date and time. And that's really where we see, that's the big sign of success in our industry is those regulars. But how do we get from, someone coming in to check out a trial class or, checking out a new opportunity, a new hobby, a new passion for the first time? How do we make them feel really comfortable in coming back? It's really, it's so important to get them to come to the second class. So a lot of your marketing and your outreach is going to be, talking about your business and getting people to come to that first one. But here we're talking more about what you can do in the process of coming, someone coming to your first class, someone coming to the studio or your business for the first time, and how you can make that that person, that newbie, feel really comfortable and excited about coming back. There's a lot of different places that in this area that you can control because it's your class, it's your business, it's your opportunity to make them feel the way you want them to feel and get an understanding of what you're offering. We're always so excited to see all the different offerings that you have, and this is a way that you can really shine. So we're going to get started here. So first up, it's, before your first timer arrives, right? So they've booked into the class, and the most important thing that you can do here is set your expectations. And a lot of this is because it's so nerve-wracking to come to a first class for that first time. You're going to have people who maybe have never, if you offer a workout, some kind of fitness feature, maybe that's something that someone's never done before. Or you offer art classes or pottery or jewelry making, and it's a hobby that they're interested in, but they've never even tried it before. And that's such a big step to come to the first class. So one of the ways to make it a lot less daunting is to really set expectations about what's going to happen. A really big opportunity here is to, on your website or on, however you host your information, whether it's Facebook, whether you include all of your information on your PunchPass page, is to set the expectations for the class, whether that's in the class description or in your public schedule, up at the top, explaining what to expect when they come. What do they need to bring? Should they bring their own water bottle? What should they wear? Those little things that can really, make a first timer a little bit nervous before they're coming. What am I going to wear? What am I going to bring? What do I do? It alleviates that by giving them that information either in a fax page or sending it in a reservation confirmation email. Again, it's really about alleviating that anxiety. And another thing you can do is, give them that information about specifically if they're a first timer. So in a confirmation email or on your website saying, if this is your first class, come 10 minutes early so we can give you a tour and show you around or have you sign the waiver, whatever information you're going to need then. It's really good to put that out ahead of time and set those expectations beforehand so that they feel comfortable and calm and ready to come to class. So I think this is also an opportunity to kind of create some excitement too. So when, they're coming for the first class, yeah, it's nervous, maybe it's a little anxiety inducing, but there's another opportunity for you to create excitement as to what to expect and what they're going to get out of that opportunity. So if you have a great quote from one of your regulars, a review on Google or Facebook, if you've ever had a write-up about a class or your instructor, that might be a way to, something you can add to an email, something you can add to your website or your schedule page to get them excited and show off a little bit, because that's really what, we want to create before they even step in the door. And one of the places that you can really take advantage of that in PunchPass is on your public schedule. We see a lot of people not really add a lot of information here. And this is an opportunity to put your information out there right before they even book their first class. So above your public schedule, you're able to edit the content, and you can include an image, you can include links, you can include an emoji, bold some text to make sure it's really obvious, good information there. So if you do host something like a fax page, you can link back to that fax page. And so right now I'm just going to quickly show you in PunchPass where you can go ahead and do that. So from your PunchPass page, we're going to go up to Manage and head into Settings. And from our settings page, you can see all the different settings on your account. And here we'll go into the public schedule icon. So here we give you the link to your public schedule, options to set some rules for your schedule. But at the bottom here, we have the option to add text to display at the top of that page. So here's where you can have link to passes, link to some other information, links to your fax page. You can add your fax here. You can add, some of that information beforehand, what to expect, what to see. But this is really where you can put that information right up front prior to booking a class. And then one of the other things we have to offer in PunchPass is the email that goes out when someone books. So if you have a little bit more information, if you have other links, if you have other information, you really want to make sure that gets in front of the first timer before they even, as soon as they've booked, that's going to come under the customer communications tile. We'll click there. And here you have the option to customize emails that automatically are sent to your customers. So email receipts, emails sent when a pass is going to expire, but here we're looking at the reservation confirmation email. So this email goes out to everyone who reserves a spot in a class online. And in this, confirmation email, what we like to see is when people include information about the first class. If they need to arrive early, here's where you can explain what to wear, what to bring. If you want to, hit them up with your contact information again to reach out if they have any questions. Some of our businesses, require first timers to reach out beforehand instead of just booking. So maybe that's some information that you'd want to include right here. But this way, when they first book, they get all this information right away. It's going to alleviate so much stress. It's going to make sure they do what you need them to do. And so that's where those two features are really going to be helpful in setting up, the expectations and alleviating some anxiety. So here's just a little quick view of what that custom email could look like. So again, you can add images, you can add links, anything that's gonna, create excitement, make them feel comfortable and ready to come to class. So the next section that we're talking about is when they first arrive, right? If you have them come a little bit early, if you're getting them, kind of what you can do to get them excited and ready when they walk in the door the first time. So let's talk a little bit about the environment. Now, not everyone has total control of their business, especially if you're renting a studio space, if you don't own the building, if you're borrowing space just for your classes, maybe it's part of a community center or a school, but it's still something that you can have a little control over when it comes to making people feel welcome. So in this space, it's really about how to make it very obvious that this is your business or that this is where the class is taking place. So if you have a sign or signs, even if they're not, even if they're temporary, right? Something with color, something with your branding, something to make it really obvious so that the first timer who's never come to your business before knows they're at the right place, feels comfortable walking in the door. It's something that is pretty small, but you can do and, again, make them feel really comfortable right away, at least knowing that they're coming to the right place. And the next thing that I think is super important is showing off your space And when a person comes in for the first time, showing them everything they might need to know. And that could be, you know, safety related. That could be where the exits are. It could just be personal comfort. You know, definitely a first timer, a newbie is going to feel a little uncomfortable asking in the middle of class where the bathroom is. So telling them where the facilities are, letting them know if you have, you know, towels or a water bottle refilling station, blocks or yoga mats that are available to use, any of the things about your studio that, you know, you add to make people feel comfortable. But again, it's a lot about making them, you know, okay, I'm here a little early. I've been, you know, shown around, I'm getting ready. I'm not the last person kind of coming in. I'm here, I understand where I am, and I'm not afraid to, you know, leave and head to the bathroom or go, you know, get some more water. Anything that they need, you know, you want to walk through that right when they come in. And then something that I think a lot of people don't necessarily do is leverage some of their most important resources. Likely you probably have a few regulars already, even if it's just one or two in each class, but they're the people that, you know, have already kind of bought into what you offer. They're excited about your classes. They come all the time. This is an opportunity to really use that resource. Someone who already loves your business, cares about your business, wants to be there because it brings them joy. It's something that you can use, right? So you can talk to some of your regulars, if you're comfortable with them, about maybe what we can do to make a newbie feel comfortable. You know, if someone, you know, with an unfamiliar face comes in the door, please introduce yourself, you know, please say hi, please feel free to tell them that you're excited they're there because you love the class. You know, that's something that I don't think your regulars are going to be uncomfortable with. You know, I think a lot of people love the classes that they take, and, you know, that's a lot already. They are regularly leaving, you know, Netflix and Hulu and everything they could watch, and they're coming out to have an experience in person. So leverage that resource. They're already a fan. Have them help welcome in new regulars. So that's definitely something we recommend to help make that welcoming process a little bit easier for a newcomer. One of the things in PunchPass that we do to make life a little bit easier for you and your instructors is highlighting when it's a newcomer. So obviously you'll want to, you know, kind of take a look ahead of time. But what we have on our system is a little icon called Sprout. He's our little first timer icon. He's a little plant with a happy face on. And what this looks like in PunchPass is, we'll go back to the home screen here, and I'll click on a class with some reservations. And Sprout will be showing to let us know that the customer's coming to the class for the first time. So it's good to know that beforehand. It's good to see that because that'll be a little heads up for your instructor to say, okay, great, I know, you know, to kind of welcome this person, to give them the tour, to expect that newbie to be a little unsure, and to make sure we welcome them appropriately. So that's one of the ways in PunchPass that we help you kind of identify who's coming in and get ready for, you know, what you might need to do when they first arrive, like signing the waiver and taking the tour. So that's really one of the key features in PunchPass that'll help highlight that. All right, so now it's the big show. It's the class time. It's when you really have the opportunity to shine, because this is what you do, this is what you offer, this is the reason for your business. But you might need a little help, right? You might not be the person teaching that first timer in that first class. You might have instructors who are helping you share what you offer the community. And this is a good time where you can kind of engage with them and talk through the process. One of my absolute favorite things I have ever experienced as a newbie at a studio is when, at the beginning of every single class, the instructor goes through really quickly and has everyone say their name. You don't have to say your full name, you can just say your first name, but this is I think one of the easiest ways to help make everyone feel more welcome, everyone feel more comfortable. It's not just for your newbies too, right? You know, it's definitely good for them, because instead of just saying, hey, one new person, why don't you get up and share? It's making everyone get on the same playing field, even the people who've been coming for years. but it secretly helps everyone out, right? It's going to mean your instructors are going to get to know everyone's names a lot quicker. It's also going to help some of your regulars who maybe have been having conversations and a lot of small talk, but haven't really remembered what that person's name is. So at the beginning of every class, you can have everyone say their name, feel a little bit more comfortable, feel a little bit, maybe have an easier time saying hi to somebody at the end of class, just to make that environment more welcoming and not singling out the new first comer. Another really important thing in a class is to make sure that people know that being a newbie and this being their first time is welcome. There's definitely going to be some times where someone comes to a class and maybe it's not their right level, but in general, it's going to be helpful to make sure that people know that everyone's on a journey, right? Everyone's starting, in different places or is at a different place in their journey. I definitely, I've experienced this myself going to an intro class, but some people have already taken 3 of the intro classes. So it's hard not to compare, but one of the ways your instructors can really help with this is to, make people feel comfortable about the level that they're at. And this is really important when it comes to modifications. We often think about modifications in a fitness setting, but it definitely works in all different areas. So if it's an art class, what we'll see a lot is a successful art instructor might show, the basics and then add a new feature. And then for anyone who's feeling comfortable with that, let's add a new feature. And that again works for fitness, starting at a base level and adding on instead of showing the pinnacle of what you'd ideally be doing and then bringing it back down. Building up to it can make everyone feel a lot more comfortable with where they are, and it can definitely help by adding the challenging features on instead of taking them off. It's definitely giving your new people and people who are still kind of just getting started on their journey with you to feel like they have a chance to succeed. And even that small piece of success can make people more excited to come back for the next thing. And maybe next week I'll hit that move. So that's something that, your instructors can do, and is pretty, again, it's a pretty simple process, but it's just maybe moving up instead of bringing it back down. And the next thing your instructors can do, and this has a lot to do with you as well, is setting the rules and reviewing the rules with everyone. Of course, your instructor brings their own flair, their expertise, what they have to offer to the class. But this is your business. This is, your livelihood, and it is a reflection of you. Your offerings and your classes and your instructors are reflecting you and your business and your brand. So it's absolutely important to go over the rules with all of your instructors and keep a consistent experience from class to class. This way clients know what to expect, again, alleviating any anxiety of going with one instructor over another one and trying something new. But it's also going to help keep your classes really comfortable for everyone and safe for everyone. So if there are any rules that are very important to your business, things are important to you, then that's something that you can absolutely do. One of those features, speaking of safety, is going to be signing the waiver. If you do have waivers in your PunchPass account and you're looking to sign, this is where we'll make sure that during attendance and your instructor knows during attendance that they need to sign the waiver. We have a little icon here. It's a kind of a red pen, which indicates that they haven't signed yet. And that's going to be something that you can see pretty easily right here in PunchPass. And when you go into mark attendance, it's super easy to, once you say this person is here, it's pretty easy to say, okay, well, obviously if they need a pass, to assign it to them, but we can also click next to their name, open the waiver, and have them read it and review it and sign it in that moment. So that's one way to keep, the rules and everything really consistent in your class, and especially for all right, so that's about, during the class and what your instructor can do. Let's talk about after the first class, after the first success, right? Hopefully it's been a good class. Hopefully you've been able to achieve something in this class. Again, those modifications can be so important. But, right after a class, this is something that you or your instructor can do, is going over a little in-person check-in. You don't need to, say anything major. You don't have to have them fill out a whole survey. You can just say, like, how did it go? How do you think the first class went for you? Were you at the right level? Did this feel like a good, comfortable place for you to start? It's going to be something that, is an easy question to ask and just gets in there right away when hopefully they're feeling pretty good after the first class and experiencing something new for the first time. And if you've noticed anything about them, maybe they hit a move that, is pretty impressive for a first timer, it's definitely something worth mentioning. A compliment can go a really long way to encourage someone to keep coming back and to feel good about what they've done. So that's definitely something that, for your instructors or for you is something to pay attention to. When you see that sprout icon, okay, I'm going to take a look for this person. I'm going to make sure they know all the rules. I'm going to walk through the process with them. And then I'm going to pay attention during class and make sure they're having a good time and checking in on them after to see how they feel. This is also a great time to talk about any incentives or opportunities that you offer. So if you have any specials for first timers, if you have a free trial for your membership, if for their first purchase, they, receive something special, any kind of incentive you have for a first-time person or, after they've first done a drop-in class, this is a great time to share that information, right? And the afterglow of a good first class and feeling proud of themselves for something. It's a good time to start talking about deals or opportunities that you offer to get them to come back, right? Maybe this is talking about membership options and what you have to offer if they're interested in coming back. So that's something that we definitely recommend. It's a good time to do it, and it feels a little bit more comfortable to do it in person sometimes. But it's also great to send a follow-up email, right? So after their first class and after they've, had a good time, hopefully, you send a free, little email just to say, hey, I'm just checking in. It was great to see you. It was great to meet you. Have you thought about booking your next class? Include a link to your schedule or a link to your passes so they can easily click and sign up again. And personalizing that email can be so important. Including their name, maybe saying something about the class that they took if you happen to be in that class. Maybe if the instructor mentioned anything to you, if you weren't there, you could add that information in. But personalizing that, sending them that follow-up is going to be a nice way to, again, hopefully entice them and make it super easy for them to click and book their next class or purchase a pass. So we're going to walk through really quickly how to set up a first-time pass or new student special in PunchPass. So when you're in PunchPass, we're going to head to our Manage Passes page, and we're going to go ahead and click on New Pass. So if we offer a new student special, we can create that pass and select to sell a pass online. And then we have two additional options that we often see people go for when they're offering a new special. You can set it to limit to only one purchase per customer. So that means that only, they can get it one time, which is definitely a benefit in this situation. But you can also set it to limit to new customers only. And what that'll do is the only people who can purchase this pass online are going to be students who are purchasing for the very first time. They have not purchased a pass before. So those are, two options that you can turn on to make it a little bit, easier for you and a little less management for you if you're integrated with online payments, to restrict the purchase to only new customers. Or if you have a lot of people drop in and they use a pass, then you could also set it to just limit one per customer, so that really it might be just the one-time option to purchase this pass. And that's something that is, again, a nice thing that you can link out to. When someone comes to their first class and you're following up with an email, great time to say, hey, I think I want to send you a link to this special pass, this special deal. One of the other things you can do in PunchPass, what makes life a little bit easier for you when you're checking back in with first customers, is if we head into our customer page and we have your new customer list right here. So we actually have that sorted by date created, so you can see anyone who's been added in the last 6 months. And it's really easy to select a customer from here and click email selected customers and send out that message, that, hey, click here to sign up for another class. Or, it seemed like you had a really great time in your class with our instructor, Michelle. She said you loved it and that you said it was a good fit for you. Click here. We'd love to see you back in the studio. Anything like that. Again, adding a little personal flair is what's definitely nice to have, when you have new customers, when they've come for their first class, you can really make them feel comfortable. And again, that's what, you're offering as a small business, is really that personal touch and that comfortable feel. So it's definitely a nice way to access that information. Send it to them. Again, we keep track of it for you, so you see your new customers and when they signed up the first time. So you can send them a message, you can check in on them. Again, if you have a few people who came in and you're not looking to do a big personalization here, you could select a few, people who came within the last 2 months, and maybe you're offering them a special pass or a special deal. That's an opportunity you can take here to email them about that opportunity. So now that we've kind of gone over some of the features and some of the tips that we have, including obviously our newly added customer, I'm going to open it up to questions. If you're available and you're on Zoom and you're able to see this presentation, you'll be able to click on Q&A and add any questions. But if, and we'll give you a couple minutes to see if anyone comes up with a question for us. We'll hopefully answer it now, but if it's really specific to you, feel free to send it anyway, and we can help answer that for you offline. All right, I see one question here. It is actually something we talked about a little bit earlier, is about it's about the welcoming sign, right? So if you have an opportunity to talk about, if you have you don't have your own business, or you don't have your own location, you're setting up, you're currently really setting up and offering your classes in a different location, something that's not consistent, maybe you have different locations all over town. One of the things I'd recommend is if you can make your own freestanding sign, something that you can set up outside a door of a gymnasium or a community center, something like that is going to be really special and important, that you can just bring and add whenever you're offering that opportunity. Let's see, I think I saw, all right, just someone who said this, who just wanted to say thank you. I see someone in the chat. Okay, so we did have someone reach out about sending communication using text rather than email, or is this discouraged? So really, this is a great question. Currently in PunchPass, we only offer a email-based communication. So we like that feature because, again, it's really great for tracking. We have it all in record in your PunchPass account, which I can kind of quickly show you. Under your reports, if you send any customized messages, that's going to show up here under client messages. You can click on any of them, you can see who received them and when. So we like the ability to track that, and that's really important. But you might have some people, and certainly we hear about this quite a bit, where some people really prefer text communication. So you can absolutely keep a record of that information under a customer account. You're certainly able to, under customer info, add any information about them, but you can also, again, add that phone number if you'd like to keep track of it, and then use that to send a message later if that's important to you. And if that is important to you, another thing I'd recommend is under your settings, under online reservations, you can make the cell phone necessary to book. So if you need everyone to send their information to you, including, not just their name and email, but also their cell phone number, you can make that required under online reservations. And then if you like to text with people, if you like to maybe have a group messaging, absolutely, that's a sort of a business choice. It's not something that we have automated through PunchPass, but it's certainly something we see pretty regularly, again, especially if you have a younger customer base. All right, I think that's great. It looks like, oh, we have another chat here. Okay, so someone also mentioned about online waivers. And moving from paper documents to online waivers. So if this is something that's really important to your business, that you have a situation, we see this a lot with aerial businesses, anyone who does any sort of kind of advanced stunts or even just yoga studios, maybe talking about what you need to know and putting out that information. Our waiver feature is pretty easy to use. You'll basically, if you have waivers on your plan, we offer this on our Balsam plan as well as our Banyan plan. So from your managed settings account, you can click on waivers of liability. And once you enable online waivers management, what that'll do is anyone who logs in to PunchPass as your customer, logs into their account with you, they'll be asked to sign the waiver. And what'll also happen is during attendance, as we mentioned before, they'll see that, or you and your instructors will see if they've signed the waiver or not. So you can easily have them sign then. And then if we go back into our settings and we go back into waivers, it's pretty easy to add a waiver or check out an active waiver. You basically, I'm using a test account, but you can add or copy and paste your information here. You can edit your waivers, add information that you need, and basically you'll just be retrieving electronic signatures from your customers. Another feature we've actually recently added is if we head back into our settings and we go into online reservations, another feature, here we have, under limitations, you can force customers to have a signed waiver in order to book. So if this is really important, you want to get it done way ahead of time, prior to booking, you can make sure that they sign the waiver before they even book. Question here. That looks good. See if there's anything else. And if you have customers who signed a paper waiver, you're certainly welcome to, from your customer page, if you have a bulk of people that have signed the paper waiver, or go through and select the people who have signed the paper waiver, you can go in and mark them as signed. You can always have, if it's going to be a refresh, if you're going to be moving to electronic waivers from paper waivers, then maybe you want to make sure that everyone reviews it again and signs it again. And that's really not too much of a difficult process for your customers. It's just when they log in to book, they'll get notified that they need to sign the online waiver. So really that's a personal preference. Again, if your waiver is changing significantly, we definitely recommend requesting for people to, everyone to sign it again or sign the new one. All right. And yeah, it looks like we've answered your questions and everything in the chat. I know we've gone, we've just about hit our time here. If you do have any questions, definitely reach out to us in the chat. If you go on PunchPass, we have our little chat box here, so you can always reach out to me or anyone on PunchPass support. And you can also, if you want to reach out to me via email, my email is victoria@punchpass.com. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about this, or if you have any other questions as you are working through your journey with PunchPass. All right, well, I've gotten a couple thank yous, so thank you everyone for attending. We really appreciate your time. We will be sending out a recording of this webinar, so if you ever want to revisit it or share it with your instructors, we'll make that available to you shortly. Thank you all again for coming, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.